Aloha. Welcome to Marriage on the Spot. We're your co-hosts Kent and Elizabeth Kitagawa, and this is a very special episode for us because this is really, for us, a walk down several memory lanes.
Well, let's say 40 years of memories.
Yes, 40 years of memories. It's this year, in March 7th, we'll make our 40th anniversary. And, I really must say, it seems like we're counting backwards somehow, that we're actually heading back towards, that honeymoon.
Ooh, ooh.
But the good thing about it is we kind of know how things
What to expect.
back now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we have seen and been amazed how God has been in every detail of our relationship, of our marriage. I mean, even from the very beginning. And to start this all off, I think it'd do well to start off with a little bit of a parallel, parable. Jesus used parables a lot, and we've got a little bit of a parable here I want to read, and this is from the internet. We didn't write this, but this is something that I think is very instructive for us to think about. All things, in Romans 8:28, Yeah. Romans 8:28 tells us that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. So God calls us, right?
Yes.
To himself, he calls us. And sometimes we wonder, in our lives, what did I do to deserve this? Or why did God have to do this to me?
Well, I'd like to share a little bit before the marriage, before we come to that story. I grew up in Switzerland. That's where the accent comes from. Yeah, I can yodel, but not on the air now. When I was about 18, I was planning on going to England to learn English so that I could go to college there and learn English, and so eventually I could travel better and stuff. And I prepared my application for a college in London. And wouldn't you know, about a week before I was about ready to send that off, I broke my leg ice skating, and I was bedridden for several weeks. It was a very complicated accident. And in the meantime, the English postal strike happened for 6 weeks. So basically the whole time I was in bed, there was no way that the mail would go to England. And of course we didn't have internet and all that stuff, so I couldn't apply. In the meantime, a friend came to me visiting and said, "You should try another college in Belgium. Then you could get better in your French and at the same time also learn English." So, well, I thought that was a good idea. It was a similar college. So let me try for Brussels. So I signed up for Brussels and I was accepted, and I went to Brussels. Why I'm sharing that is in my second year of college, we had a special speaker, and they came from Hawaii, and they came to share about a rehab center they're working for in Hawaii, and later on, a friend of mine came from school and said, "You should talk to that couple. You always wanted to get into counseling, and they're looking for a music director. And since you double major in counseling and music, that would be ideal." And I thought, oh no. So I did. I talked to them, and they shared with me what they're looking for, and I thought it was interesting, but I had no idea where Hawaii is. All I knew is Hawaii is an island somewhere, and they do hula. That's all I knew. Yeah, and they live in grass shacks. That's all. So,
Yes.
so I went to the library and looked up Hawaii. I thought, oh, that belongs to United States, and they do speak English besides Hawaiian. And then I told the people then, well, I'm interested to get to know more. When you go back, if you could send me more information. And I want to do one more year of school, though. So I did. And then finally, it took me almost a year till I was ready to enter the United States. And that was all because I started with a working visa, which was a wrong way to start if you want to come into this country. And so I had a big problem because of that, because I started it wrong, but eventually it cleared out and I was allowed to come into the United States. And since I had extra time, I took all by myself. Now I think I was crazy. And luckily my parents did not know what all I went through, but I figured the cheapest way and the most fun way is I fly to New York all by myself with my suitcase, my guitar, and the camera case. Oh yeah, and the Samsonite little beauty case at that time. And I took a Greyhound from New York all the way to California, a little bit zigzag. I went to Arizona, to Texas, and all different places. And finally, I flew to Hawaii. So to make this short, I was excited to be there. I felt so much wanted, and I felt at home, even though everything was pretty much different. But I knew all things work together for good, even that postal strike. So I was a few months in Hawaii and had to leave the country again. There was only they give you only like 3 months or 4 months to stay, and then you have to go at that time. And so I did that about 3 times, going back and forth. And finally, I was encouraged to go for my license in ministry. And I took that, and I was told, now, because you have Bible school and you have training on the place, you would qualify for a minister's license. And I got all kinds of people signing up for me. Even the governor, Ariyoshi, at that time, put in his 5 cents for me. And in the meantime, I became a volunteer of the year. And so anyway, I had to go back out to get that license, came back in, and I said, now, Lord, now I am in Hawaii. What am I going to do? Eventually, maybe I should get married. And then in 79, okay, now that's your turn to share. Because I was looking a little bit around because I liked Oriental. I liked Oriental since I was a little child. I collected Oriental teapots and cups and fans and all that. So I was kind of looking out whether there is any Orientals. I didn't care Chinese, Japanese, whatever. I
didn't know the difference.
No, when I came, I had no idea. I thought it's all the same. But anyway, I was praying that eventually God would be further on in details with my life.
And that's the thing is we do, you know. We don't sometimes recognize his his hand in our lives at the time that we're going through things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, how many times you had to go back and forth.
And
back
a year
got
of
kicked.
riding back and forth to Teen Challenge at
Right.
that time.
And even questioning, I mean, even the Billy and the directors were saying, "Are you sure this is where you're supposed to be?"
Oh, I have to say that. Now that you say that. Yeah, they said, "Are you really sure that this is still the place for you? We're still waiting for you." And at New Year's Eve in our church, we could always take from a platter little scriptures. They were cut into, little cards. And I said, "Lord, I don't want any good resolution for next year. I just want to know, am I supposed to go to Hawaii? Because it's over 2 years, or it was almost 3 years, that I met those people and they were waiting." And I picked up a card, and the card was from Isaiah. Go into the, now I just blank out. Ye that go, I didn't write it down. Go into all the world, into the sea and the land there it is. No, it starts out, I'm sorry. Sing unto the Lord a new song,
Right.
and the praise of God in the earth. And you go to the islands and the inhabitants thereof. And I thought, they even write about going to the islands and to sing a new song, and I'm going to speak and sing with those young people at that rehab center. I was supposed to start a choir. I was supposed to help them with little outreaches, and I was just so amazed. But now you can share your things.
Right. So I'm sure, like Elizabeth mentioned, that, we wonder, why did God do this to me? Why did he give you this burden on your heart, for example? And then, there's all these obstacles that come up. And so here's a wonderful way of looking at it, right? A daughter is telling her mother how everything is going wrong. She's failing algebra, her boyfriend broke up with her, and her best friend is going to move away. Meanwhile, her mother is baking a cake and asks her daughter if she would like a snack. And the daughter says, "Absolutely, Mom, I love your cakes." "Here, have some cooking oil," her mother offers. "Yuck," says her daughter. "How about a couple of raw eggs?" "Gross, Mom." "Would you like some flour there? Or maybe some baking soda?" "Mom, those all sound yucky." To which the mother replies, "Yes, all those things seem bad all by themselves. But when they are put together in the right way, they make a wonderfully delicious cake."
Ooh, gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, God works the same way. Many times we wonder why he would let us go through bad things and difficult times. But God knows that when he puts these things all in his order, they always work for good. We just have to trust him, and eventually they will all make something wonderful. God is crazy about you. I know this. He sends you flowers every spring and a sunrise every morning. Whenever you want to talk, he'll listen. And I know that he listens to you. Definitely. So you can continue on.
Well, it was on, I have it dated, that's my original paper, well, a copy of the original. I didn't want to bring it and lose it maybe. But there's my original paper. And I remember exactly where I was when I had that idea of starting to write down what I really would like in my life because of that scripture, delight yourself in the Lord, and he shall give you the desire of your heart. That's Psalms 37, 3-7. I was in the car in Eel Valley in the parking lot. And I prayed and then I prayed and I prayed and I said, Lord, I don't even know anymore what I want. I do like the ministry, but maybe eventually, I was already early 30, I have to say that. So,
Still a young chicken.
yeah.
A
So
spring chicken.
eventually, if I ever get married, I should get married in the next couple of years or so, you know. And that was September 21, 1978. So I thought, okay, Lord, what do I want? And I took that notebook, paper with me. It has my name on it, printed out. Someone gave me Elizabeth. It's spelled American way. I spell it with S. They spell it with Z, but I took it. So I wrote it. The first one was really important, the first point. I would like to have a mature Christian husband. He could be in full-time ministry. Second point, I wrote it in German. I wrote Sicht für Jüngerschaft, so which is a desire for discipleship. 3, Gabe in Musik, gift in music, or at least he had to like music, because I was also a piano teacher and voice choir director and all that, so he needed to like music at least. Then number 4, a strong character with leadership quality. 5, middle size, tall, slank, slim, and about my age. Well, give
or take a few.
Yeah. And then, at that time it was true. Number 6, dark hair, glasses. Okay, I always thought people with glasses are intelligent, so I really wanted a husband. It was okay, he had glasses on. Then 7 and last point, intelligent, and I can't even read it anymore. Yeah, intelligent, because I wanted someone who has a little bit of knowledge of a broad spectrum. So I put that down with Psalm 37:7. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, in prayer and supplications with thanksgiving. Now that's how I wrote it. And I underlined wait patiently. And I also underlined, what did I that? With thanksgiving. And then eventually I went back home and I had that thing. And after a week or two, I told my mom on the phone what I did, that I wrote it down. She said, you know what, make me a copy. And I would like to pray for your future husband too. I want to pray for you. And that's how it comes that I have the copy still, because she kept the copy. And when they had to...
She kept the original, right?
Yeah, no, I sent the original to her. And
in Switzerland, back in Switzerland.
yeah,
so
that's why it was all in German. She couldn't understand English.
Right.
And then when we had to move her from the house...
That was many, many years later.
Yes, we saw that and I thought, I can't believe it. I still have that thing. I had a copy and still, but I was just so amazed when I looked to start a musical in Maui, and I opened the invitation to other churches if anybody wants to participate with Teen Challenge at that time to come. And the rest is history. Da 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 da.
Yeah, because it was amazing, because I did come from shall we say I was not really even considering. I was like a lamb going to the slaughter. Yeah, but because I was born and raised here on Oahu, and I lived most of my life here. And it was only after I graduated from high school and I was kind of just drifting. I didn't really at that time didn't have any purpose, didn't see any purpose in getting a college degree, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I spent most of my time playing pool at the student union.
Playing hooky.
Yeah. So I dropped out of school, and I just worked a bunch of just kind of real menial type jobs. But and then got into a relationship. I was in a relationship, and which you know all about, and I ended up moving to Maui because I had this job. It was part of a job that I needed to, and the job didn't pan out, and neither did the relationship. But the Lord had me meet some people along the way that brought me over from the Kahului side to the Lahaina side, where I actually started working with Lahaina Christian Fellowship as a discipleship leader.
Gift for discipleship.
Right, working with the men's house, a men's home that they had started back then. And so, again, it was interesting, because when you put out that call for the voices and for the musical, to do an island-wide musical, I was in the audience that night. And the rest is history.
Well, you came to ask whether you could join, and I asked you a couple questions. You had long hair, hippie, typical hippie look, yeah.
Back in the 60s, I was a child of the 60s, right?
I guess so. And you came together with someone who went through rehab before, and it didn't work out well, and he backslid and came back again. And I said, so now are you a Christian? Because I wanted a Christian in that Christian rehab center environment. And he said yes. And so he came and joined the choir, and I said, yeah. First he had to sing for me, and I said, sing it again. Yes, I like that voice. So I like that voice a lot. And he became my tenor. I think you were first tenor then. And
well, there was two of us. There's three of us actually, but there was two of us that were and the other one was Marge.
Which was a lady, an elderly lady, actually the mother of one of the kids there. And you guys got always in trouble. I always had to settle you guys down because you guys had too much fun there.
That's right. I had to do something to get your attention.
Eventually, I thought back on that thing, and I looked, he's tall, he's handsome. Oh yeah, I didn't write down that he should be Oriental maybe. And I put all that down.
But God knew.
God knew all the details.
Yep.
And then eventually we went to our pastor and told him we would like to speak with him. And the first thing he said to us, not you two, not you two. There is lots of work to do for both sides.
Yes,
but more for Kent, I think.
Well, Well, you like to think that, right? I think you have to learn patience. That was the hard part.
And we had premarital, well, it wasn't even marital yet. We just had
we
counseling.
were just counseling because we started dating.
We started dating, and
Right.
since we worked for the church indirectly, so he wanted to have an input.
Right.
So after a few months, he said, "You're doing amazingly good. I could see you guys together." And we prayed, and I said, "Oh, Valentine's next year, Valentine's would be a great day." And we suggested that, and someone of our friends already got that
Right.
day. Then we said, "How about the next week?" Another friend. So congratulations, Ides and Conkies. You beat us to it, but we all three couples are still happily married 40 years.
Yes.
So, and I just want to praise God for what I still kept. And, you know, just like I said, in marriage we have lots of troubles, we have a lot of problems, and so does this hat. This hat went through 40 years, and when I wanted to clean it and take it out, it fell apart today. But I said, you know what? We are 40 years married. I can be happy. I can be proud. And happy anniversary, Kent. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the hat now, but I'd like to afterwards at least take a picture of that hat. That's how a marriage sometimes is. It might have holes. It might have some problems, but God is in it. He is into detail. And I just want to praise God for all those details. And I'm speechless.
Yeah.
You can close now.
Yeah, you know, it is. It was a perfect, like a metaphor for relationships, because through the years, sure, you know, we're gonna have rifts. We're gonna have, you know, tears that appear in our yeah. But you know what?
Oh my goodness.
Through the years, it endures.
Yes.
The relation, as the hat endured, you know, 40 years, so our relationship endures. And the thing is, as we hold on to it, you know, as we stay with that, it becomes more precious. It picks up value, you know.
I don't know about the value of this hat.
But it is, and it brings.
We have a lot
it's
to laugh about all
right,
the time.
and it's a reminder of our love. So we thank you for joining us down this memory lane, and God bless you, and hope that you remember God is in the details of your
Trust
life.
Him and wait patiently for Him. God bless you.